abominable customs. And so this is something that churches, they don't talk about a whole lot, and kind of for good reasons. I mean, some of this stuff's kind of gross to talk about, and some of this stuff you don't want to think about a whole lot. But we got to talk about it. And this church ain't going to be cowards. We're going to talk about things that be talked about. If something's wrong, God hates it, we need to talk about it here. I want God's blessing on us. I don't want God's cursing on us. And I want to touch on some, of course, going against, we're the counterculture now. And we're going against today's culture. And we're going to hit it head on. I'm going to start out reading this, Leviticus 18. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. That the land spew not you out also, when you defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them, shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore shall ye keep mine ordinance, that you commit not any of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that you defile not yourselves therein. I am the Lord thy God. So, there's a lot of things that God told them in the Old Testament. Do not do them. When a culture gets godless, they get wicked. When a culture gets godless, they get nasty and vile. And that's one thing, it's a miracle. I mean, it's a wicked, evil miracle in America that we really don't see what's going on. We're caught up, our eyes see Walmart, nice cars, cell phones, Facebook. We don't see what really goes on behind the scenes. We don't see how really spiritual sick our nation is. We're probably one of the most spiritual sickest nations that's ever been on the earth ever. And in the 60s, from my understanding of history, of course I wasn't there. It might look like it, I wasn't. I had a man ask me one time about I was in Vietnam. I said, really? I said, that's about 10 years before I was born, I think so. But, but anyway, there's always been wickedness. There's always been sin. But I'm pretty sure in the 60s is really when all pornography and stuff started coming out. I know a lot of drugs started coming out, and people started getting more desensitized to sin. And then years of that just created a worse culture. Now you got the fruit of what we got today. And I checked the stats, and they go up every year, but the latest stats, they say 7% of America is LGBT now. There was like 1 in the 90s. They say 7. Sounds a little high to me, but I don't know. And I will tell you from my interviewing them and my little study on it, because I try to prove it wrong without the Bible a lot, because if they don't believe in the Bible, it's hard to even talk to them. But most of them have been molested. Most of them. Why has most of them been molested? Because of the perverts getting into the pornography. It first came pornography, then perversion, then molesting, and then LGBT popped up. And used to, AIDS, like when I was a kid, LGBT wasn't popular because AIDS was so rampant. I mean, there's a lot of people around here who got AIDS and died and stuff. But it's still rampant. There's still a lot of people got it. It's like 1 in 360 people has it. But we never talk about it. We don't even think about it. Anyway, this is HIV.gov. Approximately 1.2 million people in the U.S. have HIV. About 13% of them don't know it and need testing. So 1.2 million, that's like 360 million if you count the legals and everything. So that's 1 out of 360 people has HIV. Think about that. If you go to Walmart, see 360 people, one of them's got HIV. All right, HIV continues to have a disproportionate impact on certain populations, particularly racial and ethnic minorities and gay, bisexual, and other men have sex with men. 2019, an estimated 34,800 new HIV infections occurred in the United States. And if you get on like HIV.gov and everything, they'll say some real bad stats, and then for like big bold letters, AIDS has went down, decreased, and then real bad stats, and I read one time I was reading where 10% of the population have been molested, and over 6% of them were molested by LGBT. And it says it, and you read it like, wow, huh? And then underneath it, it starts talking about people being homophobic and haters and bigots and all that. I'm like, man, you just said 6% of America has been molested by LGBT, and now you're attacking anybody that don't like that lifestyle. That's just like that's their weird way of covering things up. Anyway, HIV.gov, government website, not a Christian website, by HIV transmission category. The annual number of HIV infections in 2019 compared with 2015 decreased among males, with transmission attributed to male sexual contact, but remained stable among all other transmission categories. 2019, the largest percent of HIV infections were attributed to male sexual contact, 67% overall and 81% among males. So that's how many people that has AIDS is homosexual. It's very high percent, like 66. Now listen, who's a better friend? People that's wearing the gay pride flying the gay pride flags and wearing the pride shirts and posting that stuff on Facebook, or people that's warning people, hey, listen, you're living a dangerous lifestyle. Who's the better friend? And today I broke my leg, of course, you can see. You know who checked on me? A lesbian checked on me. And she's like, are you okay? You need anything? It's like, no. I'll go to the store. Lesbians bought me gas before. Lesbians brought me food. They don't hate me because they know I'm warning about the lifestyle that they're living. I'm a better friend to them than those who don't talk about it ever. You know how many billionaires they are in the United States of America? About 927. And one of them texts me. He's a homosexual. And I told him I don't support LGBT lifestyle. And, studies by David Finkelhorn, director of Crimes Against Children research, show that 1 in 5 girls, think about that, that's 20% of the girls in America. And 1 in 20 boys is a victim of child sexual abuse. Self-reported studies show that 20% of adult females and 5 to 10% of adult males recall a childhood sexual assault or sexual abuse incident. That's pretty high, and nobody ever talks about that. You won't even see that on Fox News or not. Leviticus 18, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. Tyler sent me this, and I can't really zoom it enough to read the sources. I like to have a source to go to. Somebody sent me this. It said 58% of homosexuals have a problem with intestinal worms. 1 in 15 homosexuals is a pedophile. It's way higher. Way higher. An average gay man has up to 80 sexual partners per year, and on average, a total of 1,000 over a lifetime. An average straight man has 8 sexual partners his lifetime. Still way too many for straight people. But that's true. I worked with gay people, and they'd sit there, and they just would pour their heart out to me, tell me all the stuff they do behind the scenes. And you're looking at somebody dresses nice, works good, always on time, friendly to people. But then they tell you what to do behind the scenes. It's bad, people, I'm telling you. One guy bragged to me that he went to San Diego, I think. He come back and said he made out with 15 men in one day. And that's how they live. They don't care. All right. I'm going to go on this. 1 Corinthians 6. Know ye not that unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived. Neither fornicators, idolaters, adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. Such were some of you, but you are washed, but you are sanctified, but you are justified in the name of the Lord Jesus, and by the Spirit of our God. So that's one failure of the church. The church tells them all they're going to heaven. They're not going to heaven. If you're a practicing homosexual, you're not going to go to heaven. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the Bible. If the Bible said you could be a practicing homosexual, go, I tell you that. And I mean the Bible a whole lot more than these people that don't ever study, okay? Hold on.
Look at your M closely.
Watch this.
Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. Wash. Taking others straight to hell. Why do you keep...
Look, everybody, it's Christine White. We'll see how this goes, everybody. Wait on me.
Is that a light year coloring book? That That movie had a lesbian scene in it. Let me see that. Wait a minute. Is that a Minnie Mouse toy? Disney is from the devil.
Christine, I was going to sell that.
My name is Christine White. I got my start in the ministry when a woman threw a slushie on me in front of a news camera. It's good to be back at Bean Station Full Gospel Church.
Christine, we're faith for him now.
Well, I didn't know since you kicked me out 2 years ago.
We didn't kick you out. You quit.
Well, the reason I'm here today is to tell you guys at Bean Station Full Gospel Church about how Abominable Practices curses the land in which they are practiced. Before that, though, Eric, I see that you named your oldest son Eric and your daughter Ariel. Did you name them after the Little Mermaid? Could they say mermaid?
No, actually, I named Eric after me, and I named Ariel after Ariel's laundromat, and a wrestler woman that was named Ariel. She was a vampire wrestler on the WWE, the Vampire Woman.
What? A vampire woman wrestler? No!
I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
What about Ezra? Where did you name him from?
I named Ezra after the Bible, of course. It's a book of the Bible. And maybe Star Wars.
Well, anyway, around 600 AD, the so-called Prophet Muhammad came to the Middle East and married a 6-year-old girl named Aisha.
That's true.
Now, anywhere there is Islam, the land is under a major curse. And I stand against Islam and the false prophet Muhammad. Islam will never dominate the United States. And by the grace of God, it will never dominate Tennessee. Also, there is coming a one world government headed by Rick Warren, Pope Francis, and Islam. It's called Chrislam. Is Pope Francis the Antichrist?
I don't know. It might be.
Chrislam is taking others straight to hell. There is coming a mark of the beast. And I urge Bean Station Full Gospel Church
Faith round.
not to take the mark of the beast. It was first the mask, then the vaccines. Next will be the mark. Before I leave, I want to tell everyone to thank their mothers today that their moms were not gay. Thomas! Oh, Thomas! You need to stop drinking those knock-off monster drinks. That's like drinking knock-off soda. Kids, God draws a line of gay marriage. Romans 1:24-32. Woe to those who cross it. Adriana, you better not listen to Katy Perry or listen to her stupid parrots.
Kristen, we have a character here. We got somebody that comes here. He's been wanting to meet you. And if you would, meet Bugs. Bugs, the rabbit. He's a member of Faith Realm Church. Okay.
Ah! Is that an Easter bunny in church? Bunny! Ah! Ah!
Okay, I heard somebody's talking about me.
Ah! Is that an Easter bunny in church? Bunny! Ah!
Eric?
Tyler did it. Tyler?
I didn't sound like that at all. Eric?
Yeah. Good to see you. I seen you a while, Christine.
Is he doing a good job?
Everybody, Christine White.
Well, anyway, I thought I would spoil your party, Eric, but if you're doing a good job, I'll sit down and see what else you got.
Okay.
I won't take you to court for defamatory messages. Or
Well,
should I take you to court?
well, I thought you might say something about that, so this is part of our teaching tonight. It says, dare if any of you having a matter against one another, go to law before the unjust, and not before the saints. Do you know that the saints shall judge the world, and if the world shall be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Know you not that we shall judge angels? How much more then pertain to this life? If you then have judgments of things pertaining to this life, set them to judge who are least esteemed the church. So you can't sue me, Christine. It's not
No,
Christian.
I won't.
I speak to your shame. It is so that there is not a wise man among you, nor not one shall be able to judge between his brethren. But brother goes to law with brother, and that before the unbelievers. Now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law with one another. Why do you not rather take wrong? Why do you not rather suffer yourself to be defrauded? Nay, you do wrong and defraud that your brother. So Paul's telling them, don't sue each other, Christians. You're making Christians look bad. He said, ain't there somebody you could go to amongst the church who can help you settle your problems instead of having to go to the world? So, Christine, because that you can't sue me. But go ahead and tell them so they won't feel so much, because we planned all this, didn't we? when I
Joke's on them.
pulled that puppet out of it, I went, like, hope she don't come here. All right. I'm going to read some out of Leviticus 18 because it knocks. Listen, some of this stuff is weird. Some of this stuff's embarrassing. I'm not going to comment on everything. I ain't never read this in church. You won't see this stuff read in church much. But people do live like this. People do this stuff. This is extreme far end. But it's why God was killing everybody. You read about Joshua killing all them people in the Old Testament, all them tribes, all them lands. Why was God okay with it? Why was God letting him do it? It's because them people was eating babies, throwing them in fire, raping everything, bestiality and all that. And God's like, man, just go in there and kill all the people. And he told the Israelites, do not mix and mess with them people, because you will be cursed, all right? The Lord speaking to Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, and say you unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwelt, you shall you not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall you not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. Ye shall do my judgments, and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. So God's telling them, obey my commandments, don't do like them other tribes. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them, and I am the Lord. None of you shall approach to any that is near kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. So your inbreeding is out of the question. If they're close kin to you, out of the question. Even though Abraham did marry his half-sister. But, the nakedness of thy father, nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. And what's going to happen to Noah and his kids for all of that stuff. I don't think I really don't feel like he meant the look, but anyway. The nakedness of thy father's wife shall thou not uncover it, is thy father's nakedness. We read in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, where somebody was doing that. They were messing around with their father's wife. And Paul told them, why you still let that person go to your church? You're supposed to kick them out and shun them. And then if they repent, then you treat them like gold. And the 2 Corinthians come out, that person repented because they really want to be part of the church. They said being part of the church was better than being part of his father's wife. All right, the nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. The nakedness of thy son's daughter or the daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for there is thy own nakedness. Tell that to, I think we'll get into that. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister, she is thy father, their kinswoman. So obviously this is pretty like, yeah, no duh, but you won't believe the people that do practice that stuff, you know. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is the mother's near kinswoman. Now this is the Bible, by the way. If you're saying, why in the world is he reading this? It's the Bible. We're supposed to read the Bible. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife, she is thy aunt. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law, she is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife, is thy brother's nakedness. Now, remember Herod, they told, John the Baptist told him, said, it's unlawful for you to take your brother's wife, and that got him killed, you know. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are near kinswoman, is wickedness. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister to vex her, to uncover her nakedness beside the other in her lifetime. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she's put apart for her uncleanness. That means when your spouse is that time of month, you're supposed to leave her alone. And that they actually quarantined back in those days when a woman was going through her time. She would quarantine. And people say, man, the Bible is so hateful and bigoted. They made women quarantine. All right, think about a time when they didn't have much soap as we do, didn't have showers like we do. They were clean and sanitized people, though, but they didn't have the sanitation we do. All right, the old-timers will tell you, I've said this in here before, Jenny's like, my goodness, you have to just talk about everything, don't you? But back the old-timers said, if a woman is on her time of month and she canned food, guess what happened to every bit of that food she canned? It was ruined every time. So they weren't allowed to can food during their time of month. They weren't even allowed to go out in the gardens. And I've talked to old farmer women and stuff like this. They weren't even allowed to work in the gardens during their time of month because they said it would kill the plants. Now, I don't know if it's as dangerous now with all of our soaps and sanitation and hand sanitizers and all that. I do working from a restaurant point of view. Now, I'm backing up the Bible. I ain't trying to be weird, stupid, disgusted or nothing. I'm just trying to back up the Bible, tell you why God warned us. I worked in restaurants. There'd always be a certain time of month when the food would just run a lot faster. And I paid attention to that stuff because people make fun of the Bible, and my whole life is dedicated to defending the Bible because this is where the truth is at.
In the nose, hit me in the nose.
Oh no, we got another one.
Hit me in the nose.
Who is this?
Hit me in the nose, babe. Jenny, what you hit her in the nose? Shut the mouth!
Who is this, everybody? Who's our visitor today? Who is it, though?
Well, I figured that there is gold in them there hills. I've gotten about all the Christian green I can get out west. So Kanye East is in the eastern United States, and Beyonce deserves the Grammy.
Okay, everybody, welcome Kanye East. And what he just said, he said he's done got all Christians' money out west, and now he's coming to here, these here hills in the east and trying to get some of our money. And Kanye, you just come to the wrong place. You don't understand. I've preached against you. I've warned people against you. I've lost friends over you. I've told everybody from the beginning that you wasn't right. You cuss too much. In your interviews, you do tours with satanic bands. You wasn't doing one thing Christian while everybody was buying your albums, buying your Christian clothes, so-called Christian clothes. How did you, I don't know.
I have some Christian merchandise I'd like to turn your peeps on to.
Oh, Lord.
Man, it's 4 a.m. I started a brand called Oh Yeah. We have Oh Yeah t-shirts. We have Oh Yeah hoodies. We even have Oh Yeah pants. Respect that. We have socks. Man, I'm going to run for president. And for you men who like to sit under women pastors, we have some woman drawers for you. You guys ain't got the answers. You guys ain't got the answers. You guys ain't got the answers.
The answer is you're going to get me in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, and I have some Christian albums in the work. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Oh, no. Does it have cuss words in it?
I'm doing an album with Snoop Dogg called Smoke That Weed.
Man, that's not Christian.
I'm making a Christian album with the one and only Eminem. It's called Eminem Loves Eminem. More money.
Man, that's not good Christian stuff there.
You beeps will still fall for it. I'm making an album with the Marilyn Manson.
Oh, he's a Satanist.
Marilyn Manson's album is going to be called Christians Give All Their Money to Unbelieving Zionists, so why not give their money to unbelieving Satanists too?
Oh, goodness gracious. That's awful.
Since so many people down south is on food stamps, I decided to get on that market too.
Well, pretty good idea, I guess.
And since you people down south don't have teeth, I had to make some soft food. And one of my food brands is called Taters. And also, for you toothless rednecks, we have some Jello. For your Catholics out there, we are selling some water. And for you Baptists out there, we're going to sell some moonshine.
Hey, that's not nice.
Yeah, I heard Kenneth Copeland gets most of the Christians' money
Yeah.
next to Israel, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to be number one. And also, is there any good-looking single women around here? Kim just left me. She just divorced me. Got her a new man. Yeah, I cheated on Kim.
Well, that wasn't Christian.
Yeah, I cheated on her with a half-dude, half-woman transvestite.
Kanye, that's definitely not Christian. You're claiming to be a Christian minister, wanting all of our money and sell us Christian merchandise. You can't be doing stuff like that.
Man, it's the 2020s. Christians don't care about that stuff anymore.
That's true.
Ministers can get by with that stuff now.
Yeah, things have changed, I'll tell you, that's for sure.
Some guy from your church called my agent and said you guys was willing to pay me $300,000 to come here just like old John Osteen did.
Dude, we don't have that kind of money here. Who was it? Who in the world called from our church? Called your agent and said we was going to give you $300,000. That's crazy. Carl! Carl's the pranker, everybody. I'm going to get on you, Carl. Well,
Man, Beyonce had the best video. She deserved a Grammy and the MTV Music Videos Award. I guess I'll go to the Avenue then. They've announced publicly many a times that they wanted me to come and speak at their place. But you just let the Avenue know that Santa Claus drops me out of the helicopter. Shit me in the nose, shit me in the nose, shit me in the nose.
I told you guys, I apologize for that ahead of time. Now, if Kanye walks in the door, this is really a special night. Okay. We see how stupid it is? People fall for that dumb stuff. But this is what the Bible says is going to happen the last day. Now, I know you walked in, you've never been in here before. You probably think we're nuts already, which we are. But I try to make this a little bit entertaining. We got kid 10 and up. Plus, it gives me a creative outlet. But anyway, 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. For there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who shall privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring up themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you. So don't ever forget that. You guys are money to people. You guys are money to ministers. There was a man used to come here. He used to brag. He's a multi-millionaire. And he'd come here visiting a few times. And you know what I did to multi-millionaire? I begged him. I said, please, man, just hook us up. No, I didn't. I said, you teach damnable heresies. You teach false doctrine. Let's have a talk about it. We had an 8-hour debate on our doctrines where we disagreed. Instead of me kissing up to him trying to get his money. But I've watched other ministers kiss up to him that don't believe nothing like him. But they hire him to be their like treasurer and stuff because they want his money. And also, the billionaire, like I told you, there's 927 billionaires. One of them texts me every now and then. I ain't like we're best friends enough, but if I text him, he texts me back. So that's friendly. I've never hit him up for money, and I won't. I done told him his lifestyle is sodomy. I don't support sodomy. It's awful, wicked, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I ain't going to be getting no money for him. But that's just to show that Faith Realm is in it for the right reason. We're not in it for money. Okay. Okay, this is a good Facebook page. Somebody's on Facebook. Preacher Sneakers. Just remember my foot, Preacher Sneakers. And it'll show you where these preachers, everybody just loves. You go on YouTube, they got the most views. They're on TBN. Everybody just loves so much. Their churches are huge. You know. All right, there's a dude, one of the preachers, wearing a $4,850 jacket. He gave almost $5,000 for that jacket. It's not even that good looking. $5,000 a preacher. And you could go on all day in this page. Here's a guy, I think from a Hillsong conference, he gave over $1,500 for his little hoodie there. $1,500 a preacher, okay? Well, that's his business, you know. God bless his people. Here's a guy that gave $1,500 for a pair of shoes. Now, I've listened to him a few times. Lord mercy. All right. Here's a guy that gave $1,000. This is like 5 seconds for each church. It's what like that's fine the worst. This is just on top of the pile. Okay? $1,000. And that's the guy who gave $350 for a t-shirt. Man, I'm thinking about getting into the clothes business and marketing that televangelists and megachurch preachers. Okay? But 1 Timothy 2:9 said, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefaced sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Christian women are not allowed to wear expensive clothes. Are Christian men allowed to? Because you sure see people taking up for them guys a lot. Just a question. This is an honest question I want everybody to answer. Do you think biblically it's okay for men, women can't wear expensive clothes, is it okay to wear $5,000 jackets, $500 shoes for a preacher? I mean, what do y'all think? Do you think that's good or bad? I mean, it ain't no, I don't want to fuss about it, but I don't think it looks good. Mickey told us that missionary guy, he said, good evangelists, good missionaries will go in and get a town saved. And they come up behind them, the prosperity guys. And they teach them all this. You know, you got to give money to the preachers, or God bless you. You got to give money to the preachers, or God bless you. It tricks them. I used to believe that way. That used to be all you seen on TV. We didn't have internet back in the old days. We had to watch TV. That's all they taught, every show. So he said, now those places that once were on fire for God and stuff won't even listen to you if you don't have expensive shoes on, expensive clothes, got money, so they won't even give you time of day because of the prosperity gospel and all that. Now, I believe God provides for you, but you got to look at Jesus. How was he living? Was he living all fancy and everything? Judas had to kiss him because he looked just like the rest of the disciples. He wasn't no extravagant man. He didn't look no extra. You know, he had to have his feet washed and stuff because it's dirty and everything. I seriously doubt he had $2,000 shoes on at the time. And Paul worked to pay his own way. Barnabas worked to pay his own way most of the time. They didn't live like that, guys. They wasn't out there taking money from the converts. And Paul warned them, there's going to be false prophets coming, especially in the last days. They're after your money. And man, they're everywhere. They're around here even like crazy. Most of your average preacher, pastor around here, they are not after money. They care less. But they are some out there. Usually when they start getting a real big name, you've got to watch them. All right. Leviticus 18, back to that. Oh, no, not the weird chapter. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. Man, trust me, guys, that happens so much. In this area, it happens so much. Last time I broke my leg, I was 16-year-old. And I remember I was on crutches, walking down the highway to school, and I was going to have to drive myself home. A lot harder to drive myself home than it was today driving here. And this girl bumped into me. And man, I'm telling you, my leg didn't even hurt until she bumped into me. And it hurt. She just looked at me, get out of my way. I said, man, I wasn't in your way. My leg's broken. And she just I never did really think real highly of her, you know. I know that might not be Christian or nothing. But she ended up stealing her cousin's husband away. Messing around with her husband. They lived beside her and everything. And I'm like, man, that's just so common. It's so too common. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire of Moloch. Neither shalt thou profane the name of the God. I am the Lord. So we don't use God's name in vain. And we don't. I think when they said seed pass through the fire, I think they're throwing babies in the fire to Moloch. And I think the abortion industry, my goodness, man, I don't care. Freedom, whatever you want to think, you have to be brainwashed to think it's cool to kill a baby. And what if it's saving their life? If it's saving their life, that's a different story. I've seen that happen. I've seen where the baby was going to die and the mama was going to die if they didn't do something to the baby. That was not an abortion. That was a life-saving thing. The baby wasn't going to live anyway, and the mama would have died. They were devastated. The family was devastated. They hated it. They did not want that to happen. They were terrified. That's a rare occasion. Most abortions, like 99.9 or something, it's just because a woman slept somebody, got pregnant, they don't want the baby or didn't like the man that got her pregnant. And let's see, 1 in 4 pregnancies in America end in abortion. 1 in 4. And like the Roe versus Wade, it didn't get rid of abortion in America. It might have got rid of Tennessee, which is good. You'll see Tennessee go up. But California, New York, and all that, man, you think 1 in 4 abortions is going to stop with the wicked government we got, you know? But at least we get it out of Tennessee. All right. Thou shalt not lie with mankind with womankind is an abomination. Is that not clear? The Bible makes that clear. Homosexuality is wrong. I do feel for them. If they've been molested or whatever, and their body kind of went into defense mode and changed, it's kind of like, kind of got like an opposite sex spirit on it, whatever. I feel bad for them. But we all have our battles to fight. I've spent thousands of hours of my life around homosexuals. Every gay man's attracted to one woman. Most of them's always hit it off really good with one woman. Guess what? That's all a straight man gets is one woman. That's all a man gets is one woman. Lesbians, all of them. I don't care if they got beards and built like me. There's a man out there that they just fell for them and just had a relationship with, whatever, and that was probably theirs. That's all they get is one man anyway. And you've got to fight that stuff. And when the churches cater to it and they never talk about it, I've got friends who are gay, lesbian stuff. Man, I see them out. That's hello, how are you? And they no fight, no fuss or nothing, but they don't come here because you know why? Because they know we preach against it. But they will go to other churches because they know that they can go to church and be comfortable in it. And I've been told that before. But when they want to go to somewhere to get out of it, where do you think they're going to come? They're going to come here. And Phil Kidd, he preaches against it pretty hard. He's been death threatened to death over it. He used to be a lot rougher before he got on TV. He said, transvestites come to my church, dressed like they're supposed to dress, though. He said, because they know it's a miserable lifestyle. It's the number one suicide rate lifestyle is being a transvestite. And they can't blame bigots or whatever because it's widely accepted now, more than ever. But the more it's accepted, the more they kill themselves. And it's a very dangerous lifestyle, okay? But we don't stand for it here. We ain't going to be mean to no gay person here. But we do not condone homosexuality. Now, I want that to be clear. Is that clear to everybody? Faith from Church does not condone homosexuality. Good, okay. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall there any woman stand before the beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. And I didn't Google it because I was scared what popped up. I guarantee if you'd hit the word bestiality in your Google, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of articles would come up, pictures and everything. That's why I didn't Google it on purpose. I heard from Peter Ruckman, was an old preacher. He'd be about 105 years old now if he's still alive, maybe 110. But he said he was around during the jazz era. He played drums and jazz. He said bestiality was very common with the people who created jazz music. He said it was common. It's down in New Orleans. Okay? Defile not yourself in any of these things, for all these nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. And the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomited vomiteth out her inhabitants. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes, my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. So even immigrants and stuff, they said, don't let them live like that among you. Do not put up with that stuff. And it's going to bring a curse upon the land. We might have good crops when we grow gardens. We might have decent weather. We might have food. We might have water and all that. But our land, I'm telling you, is cursed. We are a cursed people. People are not happy. People are wickedly miserable. Wickedly miserable. That's because the further away you get from God, the more miserable you get. Okay? For all these abominations have the men of the land done which were before you, and the land is defiled. That the land spew not you out also when you defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. For whosoever committed these abominations, even the souls that commit them, shall be cut off from among their people. And today we let them in our churches and minister to us. We let them in our churches and do all this stupid stuff and play music for us and be on our bands and stuff and everything. And it's sad, guys. It's sad. I've talked to so many people. I'm in a relationship with a married woman. Quit, stop. But their pastors tell them it's okay. Or act like it's okay. The churches, their praise team, that's why we only got 2 people up here. And Hunter, when he beats the Congos, is because churches let people that are shacked up. That means for younger people, it means 2 people that are not married living together, sharing the same bed every night, living like they're married, but they're not. Man, the praise teams are full of people like that. And I've told everybody I've ever ministered to that's living like that, you can't live like that and be blessed. You cannot. You're going to be a cursed person. Therefore, ye shall keep my ordinance, that you commit not any of these abominable customs which we commit for you, and that you should not defile yourself therein. I'm the Lord your God. He is Lord. We live for Him. And we're almost done. One main warning I had to give everybody: stay away from pornography. That's what leads to all this horrible, awful stuff. Them women that everybody's just oohing and awing over, them are sexual abuse victims. They are people been raped and just sexually abused their whole life, and now men's looking out in magazines and internet movies and stuff. If you want to stop child trafficking, you stop watching porn, because that's where it all starts at. That's the birth of all this stuff right here. Human trafficking, I never heard of human trafficking when I was a kid. That's something I just started to hear about recently. It's common now. It's very common now. Because all these perverts that live around us everywhere. That's it. Boy, them days are gone. That picture there. But I'm done if someone wants to turn me off. Again, I apologize ahead of time, but I know it's going to be a little crazy. It's good to see Christine again. Remember yesterday you said you felt like you was going to eventually meet her.